Hi, I'm Blanca Regina.
And I'm Pierre Bouvier-Patron.
And we are presenting today Abstract Encounters, a new audiovisual piece.
We've been playing together for years with various artists and musicians in different aspects, in different cities, like from Mexico to Madrid to London.
And to be streaming to Poland.
So I think my background is more experimental films and films in general, and your background is
Performative, multimedia, and
theater,
also like music and digital art. So the piece Abstract Encounters works a lot with our own archives that are remixed in a new manner. We also produce the visuals.
The visual part, my work is usually very organic. I work with analog film, and then I rework it in post-production with softwares. So today I'm using 16mm, I'm using Super 8, I'm using 35 photographies, and I rework them in the software. So there will be some pre-made visuals, but I will deconstruct them and work with them like live, almost as a VJ. And Blanca will do the sound.
The sound, we sample objects, we use toys, singing bowls, electronics. We have little kind of horns or kind of semi-broken toys. But at the same time, we process everything digital, and we have a pre-recorded section as well. It's a bit like French and Spanish living in London. We belong to everywhere and nowhere. What else we have on the pod?
I will use filters. I've got strips of 35mm, and I will play with that, and Blanca will improvise.
So for making the soundtrack, what we did is use the film on the studio, like project sections of Pierre mixing film live, and the musicians replying live to the film. So there is no we don't write the composition beforehand. We just play the film and react to it. And the difference between just making music and making music for film is that there is more spaces of silence, because the film tells a lot by itself. So when you're just making music, you just, like a conversation, it could be more interesting or less interesting. Also, if it's improvised, it's really like a conversation. So there could be very boring parts and very fun parts. But then when you're playing to film, the film already brings a lot to the conversation. So suddenly there is more silence. One thing is the live, and another is the documentation of the live. And the documentation is gonna bring so many other elements, the cameras, filming, their subjective view into what shots they select. So it creates another piece.
I think nothing replaces the live experience. I mean, because you're in the room and you connect differently. But my friend, for example, said she will watch us tonight with her projector at home. So she'll have us in the living room. So that's as close as you get from the real experience.
So it's nice to think about Nanjum Paik creating the first streaming on the 60s, and then being part of this kind of electronic superhighway that connects us all. And it's nice to dissolve borders or languages. We'll try to be as much universal as possible. Of course, we are limited and we are just a little dot, but actually connects us all in that really nice map. So that's the good thing of streaming. We are here and there, and we are here now, and then we will be also there later, because it's going to be pre-recorded. So it's a nice like fold of consciousness again, and it's really interesting. So it's like expanded time, expanded consciousness. So those are really interesting things about streaming. And yeah, just one more time testing a technology that will fail, but probably fails in a nice way, because that's part of digital art, and making error is an essential part of our practice, I think.
Birds and flowers in my window I see birds kiss, 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 kiss. To start the loop and close it again. No end beginning.
To jest tak. Dzisiaj gramy koncert, który jest w jakiejś mierze nietypowy ze względu na całą ideę wydarzenia, w którym bierzemy udział, czyli Digital Redux. To jest taki byt, powiedzmy, w którym dwa miejsca, dwie instytucje zajmujące się sztuką umawiają się na to, że przeprowadzają jednocześnie w dwóch miejscach wydarzenia, koncerty, performansy, które są transmitowane najpierw z jednego miejsca do drugiego i potem w drugą stronę. No i to jest, tu się w ogóle już na tym etapie się robi straszna komplikacja taka ideowa, bo to jest z jednej strony dosyć oczywiste rozwiązanie. W ogóle w pandemii też była masa transmisji, to wszyscy wiemy, zewsząd i ze wszystkiego. Większość tych pandemicznych transmisji była dosyć nudna, mówiąc szczerze. Natomiast w momencie, kiedy się te transmisje wprowadza w jakiś kontekst społeczny, tak jak w przypadku Reduxa, że mamy dwa fizyczne miejsca z publicznością, to ta energia całej sytuacji jest zupełnie inna. Mi się to akurat bardzo w ogóle jako idea podoba, więc też dyskutowaliśmy o tym, żeby trochę w tą stronę pójść i żeby to, co my tym razem wykonujemy, to nie było po prostu wykonanie koncertu naszego, który przypadkowo jest transmitowany, tylko zrobienie czegoś, co jakoś z tą transmisją w ogóle, z transmisyjnością gra.
Jednorazowy eksperyment miał być, który później ewoluował funkcjonujący od ponad 20 lat projekt.
So the decision to perform Mutable VR on stage is an extension of like this, because I was really interested in the idea of because I'm a keen meditator. I meditate quite a lot as well, and I was interested in the idea of exploring inner space, because virtual reality is inherently quite a personal, closed off, looking inwards kind of medium. But I thought it'd be interesting. But also, I'm a performer and a musician, so I wanted to somehow. And there was a version of this that was just an installation. But I found it more interesting to do like a performance of it to kind of express what was inwards, outwards, to sort of explore inner space and outer space simultaneously. And also there's something about, I think I'm just a big fan of like the resonance of spaces, because a lot of the technology behind this was using at the time, maybe not this newer version, but it was using convolution technologies and ambisonics and this kind of stuff, like immersive 360 sound type stuff, spatial sound, and it would make more sense. You could be in VR controlling the sound, but if people can't see visually what's going on, it won't really make much sense. So I think it's just to sort of make it a bit more of a shared experience in that respect, So to make it more of a social VR application in that respect, without it being sort of, you sign up to Meta and make a Facebook account to talk to your friends in VR chat or whatever. But it's still like to keep it kind of, because performances are shared experiences. So I wanted to kind of take it a bit more out of the inner space aspect. The way the visuals work, they are directly mapped to the parameters of the sound. So by moving my body in VR, I'm also simultaneously controlling the sound of what's happening. So I'm also not only controlling the visuals, but also the sound. They're both like networked together for this protocol known as open sound control. The earlier version had a lot more of that. So it was like almost like a theremin. I was inspired by theremins and these sort of gestural interfaces for controlling sound. But another key part of my sort of research for this project was the idea of giving agency over to the computer. So I also got really interested in a form of machine learning. I know machine learning in new media art has kind of become a bit of a sort of buzzword in the same way VR is, but I'm not really interested that much in like trends and stuff like that. It's more kind of the ideas and the concepts behind it. So the initial concepts of this was to kind of, what Barra talks about is, the idea of a gentle realism and giving particles agency, because they're talking about quantum physics and stuff like that, and the idea of like wave particle duality. So I kind of wanted to give these particle simulations in the Unity game engine like some form of agency. So now the sound is not only controlled by me, it's also controlled by my computer using Markov chains. I don't know if anyone's familiar with them, but they're a form of machine learning. They're kind of like a dumb AI, basically. They're an old version. They're a very almost a prehistoric version of like how neural networks work. They're all based on probabilities and changes and stuff. So I trained this version of the project on an older version to kind of be a bit more generative. So there's a certain aspect of me controlling parameters, but also it's like almost like a dance with the machine itself. Because I'm not a dancer, so this is my own way of, some form of dance with collaboration. I mean, it's a digital media performance, so it can work in. I've adapted it for many different mediums, including live streams. So yeah, I mean, this isn't anything new to me, and new media art has a long history of, Nam June Paik and people like that have done. There's a long history of telepresent art and art existing in multiple locations at once. This is the benefit of the internet, that we can be here tonight in London, and also there's the whole audience in Poland that are simultaneously watching it. So I think that's quite a remarkable achievement in technology, and it kind of makes it, it makes you feel like, yeah, like present in multiple locations. And that's kind of an idea with this project as well, is that I'm not just in the headset, I'm also in the venue, but I'm also in another place,
Poszerzamy rozumienie tego, czym są instrumenty. Dzisiaj ensemble Compopolex występuje właściwie tylko w 1/3 ze swoim tradycyjnym instrumentarium. No może Aleksandrze już się zdarzyło grać na różnych dziwnych obiektach, więc 2/3. Natomiast ta scenografia też traktowana jest jako instrument. Została zaprojektowana przez Katarzynę Fejglewicz-Beszat. I jakby cała ta aranżacja, labirynt stworzony z taśm aluminiowych, ekrany z pleksji wraz z performerami sprawiają, że słyszymy o wiele więcej dźwięków niż byśmy mogli bez nich usłyszeć.
Ciekawsze jest chyba to, że można przy okazji tego performansu czy koncertu, utworu zobaczyć, jaki potencjał, i to dosłownie ich przenośnie, jest w ludzkim ciele. Bo nasze ciała tak naprawdę, operując potencjałem elektrycznym, właśnie też tą scenografią i tymi ścieżkami, o których Piotr mówił, no to tak naprawdę sterujemy muzyką, że jakby my stajemy się instrumentami, tworzywem. Materia jest gdzieś tam, powiedzmy, zakomponowana w komputerze, ale jakby tym instrumentem, czy jakby tym interfejsem między wykonawcą a efektem dźwiękowym, no to jest jakby ta droga skrócona. I to my jesteśmy operatorem bezpośrednim. Tak,
to bez tego czynnika ludzkiego to by się nie odbyło, nie? Więc to jest ważne.
Chyba że rośliny, bo rośliny też mają, albo grzyby.
Może 3 grzyby.
Można byłoby połączyć grzybki i to by zadziałało?
Tak, grzyby też mają potencjał elektryczny.
My nie operujemy tradycyjnym systemem dźwiękowym, czyli głośnikami wysokotonowymi, czy po prostu systemem PA. No tylko jednak mamy te suby, mamy zbudniki audio, które wymagają bezpośredniego doświadczenia, dotyku. No w przypadku streamu wiadomo, że w dużej mierze to odpada. Niemniej wiem, że też zostało to tak zaplanowane, że w Watermans Art Center stream również będzie doświadczany przez suby i jeden obiekt wibrujący, który został tam przygotowany, także powiedzmy ta część jest zaplanowana.
Uważam to za duży plus, taki postpandemiczny, że większość wydarzeń jest rejestrowana i oczywiście to nie jest to samo. To nie jest to samo doświadczenie, pójść na koncert i zobaczyć to przed ekranem, nawet jeżeli to jest jakoś emitowane i siedzi się w grupie, jest ten taki namiastka sytuacji koncertowej, ale z drugiej strony uważam, że to jest takie, że to jest włączające pewne osoby, które mają problem z dostępem do kultury, albo które po prostu, no nie wiem, no nie mają czasu zobaczyć tego w tym czasie, są w innym miejscu.
Albo pracują. Nie?
Albo pracują, albo mają dzieci, albo coś.
Helen Papaioannou. I'm a composer and performer based in Sheffield.
And I'm Noriko Kaku. I'm based in London, but at the same time I'm based in Japan as well. I go back and forth. We were interested in oral tradition, like we were saying, like how the story folklore changes the content maybe throughout the time. But after doing this performance with Helen for several times, like I started finding the meaning.
Hearing the hounds at the Sheffield Cathedral. And so we used this poem as the basis of half of the work. And we took some photos of Sheffield Cathedral and made field recordings around this site and other haunted parts of Sheffield which are woven throughout the work. So this text was exchanged between English and Japanese using automatic translation engines. So kind of looped and walked into a new story. And then you kind of came up with the text to describe the other story, didn't you?
Which text?
The text about the ginkgo tree.
Ginkgo tree, yes. I found the folklore in text. Then, because it's a cross-culture collaboration between Britain and Japan, so it made sense for us that we use the automatic translation things. And so we just started putting all the text we found into translation, and I started making a image animation based on the translated text, and then actually it made the image distort.
Every iteration they change, and that was both a process of exchange between the two of us, but also with these translation tools as well. I think as well there was quite a process of exchange between me sending audio to Noriko and then Noriko sending visuals to me, and we were both led by the text and the evolution of the text, and I think that was a sort of natural progression that the further we went it moved further away from those original texts.
And also you use the text recording, like a voice recording, like you put the effects on it.
Yeah.
And then the sound goes very distorted, and I felt like, okay, I follow how she did it in video. And then that's how it happened. Like my interest found that part is very interesting. That would be interesting because, like in our performance, we are using like online translation tool, which we just put the text and then the things comes up online. Like the computer gives us the answer, and we tend to believe that is true. And we'll see if the people in Poland will believe that we are performing in here, but they never know if it's true or not, actually. So it's like it's just a side thought. Like I thought that's quite interesting to question myself. Like, do we always tend to believe things online, but is it really true or not? So it can be interesting things to think about, or use that topic to our performance.
Yeah.
In the future, really.
Soar in all directions. It seems that he saved Honganyi-san, the ginkgo tree that caused the miracle.
夜中の暗闇でよく聞いたものだ。空を飛ぶ鳥に驚き、心を乱された。私の空想をかきたてる。ビーグルの群れが低い声で吠えているように見えた。単純な恐れが私につきまとうことを私は不思議に思わなかった。単純な恐れは幽霊の狩人に月のない長い追跡を運命づけた。
It stirred my fancy. A herd of beagles seemed to be barking low. I did not wonder that a simple fear should pursue me. A simple fear would trace the ghostly huntsman, destined for a long, moonless chase. Was the straw which is drained when brave religion is underwater. As the pale fire entered the main hall of the Buddhist temple, the stone eyes were energized. The sunken fan-shaped top knot of the hairy tree remained. I immediately sprinkled water. It was deadlocked and became strange. The tree of ginkgo, which caused the miracle of Honganji, seems to be stolen.
Dla mnie to jest zawsze bardzo ciekawe wyzwanie, bo na co dzień jestem po prostu dyrygentką i stoję przed ludźmi, którzy wykonują rzeczy różne. Natomiast mam też taką okazję czasem performować różne rzeczy, a to śpiewając, a to trochę dyrygując i gdzieś tam łącząc różne kompetencje i strasznie się cieszę, że tutaj Rafał tak mnie zaprosił do takiej akcji, gdzie nie tylko gram na instrumencie elektronicznym, ale gdzieś tam dialoguję z wideo i z elektroniką i totalnie nie mam poczucia, że jestem sama, tylko mam poczucie, że tutaj jest wielu wykonawców, mimo że może się wydawać, jak będziemy oglądać, że tam sobie siedzę tyłem i muzyka gra.
To jest trochę taka postać, która prowadzi medytację. Zazwyczaj jest taka postać, która prowadzi jakiś taki rytuał medytacyjny, ale tutaj mamy, ta postać jest tutaj taka no, postczłowiecza trochę, że ona nie wiadomo, czy ona jest w zasadzie programem komputerowym, czy ona jest, nie wiem, postacią z VR-u, z gry, czy może jest człowiekiem, no to właściwie to jest takie zamieszane. Sam nie wiem, ale spytam.
To właśnie nie są w żadną stronę, dlatego mówimy o medytacji, że to nie są przesadzone emocje w żadną stronę, ale jakaś taka budująca się, mam wrażenie, dogłębna świadomość tego, co się wydarzy, czyli że jakby to jest takie uczucie, które gdzieś tam narasta w środku nas, jak sobie z czegoś zaczynamy tak dogłębnie zdawać sprawę, tak rozumieć na poziomie jakimś takim meta i że to w tym utworze tak postępuje. Ja to tak czuję, no nie wiem, czy to jakby o to chodziło, ale myślę, że każde jakby takie, że każdy to odbiera też na swój sposób i przez swoje jakby doświadczenie i przez swoje życie i też moment, w jakim jest i nawet dzień, w jakim
Dokładnie.
jest.
Wiele osób tak nie wydając dźwięku jakby śpiewa wewnątrz, nie sobie tam, czy tak sobie po prostu tam coś mimowolnie tam po prostu jakby wjeżdża w ten nastrój, w ten utwór. No. W tego drona, bo to właściwie jest, ostatecznie budujemy jeden taki dosyć potężny dźwięk.
Hi audience, if you hear hear it, say end. Hi audience, if you feel it, say longer, end. Hi audience, sing, but listen carefully to the sound. Sing and listen simultaneously. Listeners, we are the sound, organized sound. It's the end, and end, fulfilling itself. Hi humans, your happenings and adventures, effects and intellectual concepts, your space and time, just evaporating. The end. It's quite comfortable to observe this process and wait. It's quite nice and pleasant. No drama in it. It's just melodic, melancholic and mad. No drama, just no future. Just chilling and listening. It's easy listening. Performers, maintain the sound. Ongoing in common. Take a deep breath and meditate the sound. Performers, maintain the drone.